Everyone, it's Desiree, and let's have some fun ink smooshing. That's what we're going to start out with. So I grabbed my silicone craft mat, and I'm just taping it down because, well, it's just really rolled up and wrinkled, because that's how we start. I'm going to be using broken china, antique linen, and of course, vintage photo distress inks. I'm going to be creating two panels. The first panel, you can see that I have a lot of the broken china, and then that second one that's coming in is just picking up some of that excess so that people are okay not thinking I'm wasting ink because it's all wonderful. I'm going to splatter some of the vintage photo onto that large panel. I'm going to be using that panel to die cut. Coming in next with antique linen. Now we're going to be making a slimline card. So this is already cut to size, and the size that is cut to is 3.5 by 8.5. Antique linen is usually a light color, but when you put it down heavily, you can get this beautiful, deep, rich yellow glow. I'm going to go over this with vintage photo just to make it a little bit darker. And yes, you see me dipping right in with that panel to pick up the excess ink with the vintage photo as well. When your layers are dry in between, you won't get too much mixing as long as you go straight up and down and not swoosh your paper. I'm going to be using the large etched butterflies here. These are absolutely gorgeous. And I'm not sure which ones I'm going to be using, so we're going to die cut them all. I always keep my extra die cuts. It's always good to have more than what you need. And I'm just getting them set in the areas where I see that ink or have an idea. This is what they look die cut. And what's great is there's some etched lines in these, hence the name. Some of them have dots or circles that are cut out as well. So you could layer them if you choose. But I really just like the look of this mottled ink in behind. And I wanted it to be soft. I am going to go around the edges with some vintage photo. Again, that helps to frame them up onto our panel. Gonna put my layers on. Now, my layers together, my mats. Because I used a lot of water, when you ink smush, you've got all of that water going into your cardstock. And the cardstock that I used, and I don't think I said, was Canson XL watercolor paper. I like to use my 2-inch film tape. I get it from Uline. It is super strong and it is not forgiving. Once it touches, it's there. But I really like this because it flattens the cardstock out even more. I'm going to set this up onto a matte gold piece of cardstock framed, and then I'm going to also set that up onto a black panel. The ultimate size of this slimline will be 4 inches by 9 inches. I'm going around the edges with more vintage photo, again, just to darken up those edges. I'm now going to pull in the Flourish stencil by Paper Rose. Now, even though this is a 6x6 stencil and this is a slimline, which of course is longer than 6 inches, I'm just taking sections of that stencil and putting it in the background. So I don't need to have this continuous pattern in the back there. That's what's great with some of your stencils. Just take a section of it to fill in your background. I'm putting this onto my card base. Again, it's cut 8 by 9, but then it's scored along the 8-inch side at 4 inches. So now it's a 4 by 9. The die cuts that I have here are they're called the Wonky Stitched Inside Out Circles. Really interesting dies. So of course they're circled with these wonky stitches. For those of you that have been here from the beginning, you know how I love my wonky stitches. But what's really cool with the die is you could put it in the center of your panel. You'll have a stitch line around the outside left behind, but then you have these circles that are cut out of it. So it's like a twofer, which is kind of cool. I die cut these from the matte gold cardstock and also a glitter cardstock. And you can see these great stitch lines in there. Just created a design with those circles going down the front of my slimline. When you bend the wings, they have this area that will automatically bend in certain areas so it stays flat, so you can apply your glue and get them set and the wings will stay propped up just a little bit, or you can put some double-sided foam squares underneath the wings to make sure that they do. The sentiment I'm using is their Hello Chunky die cut sentiment. I just love the font of it, and then it also not only comes with the sentiment, but it comes with the cloud. Okay, I call it the cloud. The background comes with the background. I die cut the hello from black cardstock, and I did that 3 times, layering that up, setting that onto a piece of vellum, and I'm going to set that right at the base of the large gold circle there, putting the glue behind the sentiment itself so that they can be hidden in behind. We'll add just a few gems. These are some iridescent gems in my stash, and just setting a few of those around the front panel as well, just to add a little bit of darkness and to pull out the black frame and the sentiment that is in black as well. And that is our card. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, a little bit of a mixed media look, but you can get that look using the inks that are in your stash as long as they're water reactive, and having some fun with some die cuts. All the products that I used will be listed down below, and if you have any questions, make sure you leave those down below in the comments. Enjoy your day. Have fun creating in your stash. And remember, you are creating your art, and it is your art, and it is unique, and it is wonderful. But always remember what's most important. Always be creative, and I'll be talking to you in the next one, guys. Till then.